Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The sound of the door unlocking still echoes in my chest like a gunshot. I remember the sharp twist of the handle, the heavy silence before his voice broke through the air. Emily. His tone wasn't angry. Not yet. It was confused. Too calm. That was what terrified me most. I froze. My bare back pressed against the cool sheets, the scent of sweat and cologne heavy in the air. The man beside me, Ethan, shot upright, panic flashing in his eyes. I could hear the metallic clink of my husband's keys hitting the marble floor. Then his footsteps, slow, measured, approaching the bedroom. Don't say anything, I whispered, but my voice trembled. The door swung open. And there he was. Daniel. His expression wasn't rage. It was devastation wrapped in disbelief. His eyes flicked from my tangled hair to the stranger in my bed, to the sheet I clutched desperately against my chest. For a moment no one breathed. Then Daniel spoke almost gently. So this is what it looks like. His voice wasn't loud. It was quiet enough to make my stomach twist with guilt, because I could handle anger. But disappointment, the quiet, hollow kind, cut deeper than any scream ever could. Daniel, please? I began, scrambling for words that didn't exist. He stepped closer, his jaw tight, his eyes glassy. How long? The question hung between us like a guillotine. Ethan started to speak, but Daniel held up a hand, his gaze never leaving me. Not you, he said coldly. I want her to answer. My throat tightened. 3 months. He blinked once slowly. No yelling. No throwing things. Just silence. That unbearable, suffocating silence. I'll give you 2 minutes to get dressed, he said finally. Then both of you are leaving. His voice cracked at the end. That small fracture broke something inside me. The next morning I woke up in my sister's spare room. Sunlight pouring through thin curtains that made everything look painfully real. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Dozens of missed calls, messages, none from Daniel. Only one from Ethan. You okay? I didn't reply. 'Cause I wasn't. My mind replayed last night in cruel fragments. The way Daniel's shoulders trembled as he turned away. The way his wedding band caught the light when he closed the door behind him. I told myself I cheated because Daniel had grown distant. Because he buried himself in work. Because I felt invisible. But staring at my reflection that morning, eyes red and hollow, I knew the truth. I did it because I wanted to feel wanted. And that realization made me hate myself more than his anger ever could. 2 days passed before he agreed to see me. He didn't answer my texts, so I showed up at our house. His house now, clutching an apology I'd rewritten 100 times. When he opened the door, he looked like a ghost of himself. Unshaven, exhausted. Still wearing his wedding ring. Please, Daniel, I whispered. I just want to talk. He hesitated, then stepped aside. Inside everything was spotless. Except our wedding photo, which was gone from the mantel. The empty space where it had been felt louder than any accusation. I stood there, fumbling for words. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just need you to know that I... He cut me off softly. Stop. I froze. He took a deep breath, rubbing his temples. You think I didn't notice? The late nights, the coldness, the fake smiles. I just didn't want to believe it. I thought if I worked harder, maybe you'd come back to me. Tears stung my eyes. Daniel, I made a mistake. I thought you didn't care anymore. He laughed bitterly. I cared too much. That's the problem. He sat on the edge of the couch, eyes distant. You know what's funny? Last week I bought tickets to Paris. Your dream trip. I was going to surprise you on your birthday. My breath caught. What? He smiled faintly, but it wasn't a kind smile. They're still in the drawer. Non-refundable, apparently. That broke me. My knees buckled and I sank to the floor. The sobs came out raw, ugly. But he didn't move to comfort me. He just watched, silent, broken in his own quiet way. Finally he said, You should know. I'm not angry anymore. Just done. Something in his calmness terrified me. Done. I filed for divorce this morning, he said. But before you go, there's something you should see. He handed me an envelope. Inside were photographs. Ethan and his fiancée. Smiling. Together. From months ago. My hands trembled. What is this? Daniel's voice was low, steady. He wasn't single. He never was. He reached out to me last night. Told me everything. I felt the blood drain from my face. He said you weren't the first, Daniel continued. That he uses women to get ahead at work. And you? He looked at me with something between pity and exhaustion. You were just his newest distraction. I couldn't breathe. You knew. And you still let me talk to him? I wanted you to see what kind of man you threw everything away for. The room spun. The guilt, the betrayal, the humiliation. It all collapsed into one suffocating weight. Daniel stood, finally looking at me one last time. You broke us, Emily. But he broke you. And I think that's worse. That night I sat in my car outside the house we once shared. The rain blurring everything into gray streaks. I replayed every moment, every lie, every choice. I thought betrayal was something you did to someone else. I never realized it could also be something you did to yourself. Because I didn't just lose Daniel that night. I lost the version of me that believed love could survive anything. And maybe that was the cruelest truth of all.